You're watching One-on-One Sports, hosted by Eric Kendall and Christian Binder, with resident experts Tom Waterman, Greg Brzezowski, and Alex Rosenbaum, Billy O'Riordan and Josh Norris, Robert Woner, and Michael Heil. Paulo de la Fell and Alex Sharon. Christine Williams and Aaron Moger. Welcome to One-on-One Sports.
Hello and welcome to another One-on-One Sports. I'm Christian Binder.
And I'm Eric Kendall. Our owners have not locked us out, so we're here and ready to go. Here are your starting five.
The NFL's labor talks have been going on for several weeks now, and all the owners and the Players Association have to show for it is a deadline extension. Eric, what has to be done for a new collective bargaining agreement to be reached?
Well, to answer your question, this is a good thing. They're going to keep talking.
Yep.
As a fan, this is what you want. A CBA is possibly within reach. Robert Kraft of the New England Patriots, the owner of the Patriots, says it's a possibility now. Before they're $1 billion apart, they're saying.
Maybe they're closing that gap.
Yeah,
I'm just frustrated, though, because what in 7 days are they going to accomplish that they couldn't accomplish in the weeks beforehand, before this deadline, which should have been reason enough to have it done? I think that
I got a question for you. The pressure's on now. So
yeah,
that's gonna.
I mean, how is I just don't understand how the pressure is on now when they had a deadline already.
Well, you know how you're a student in college. When the papers due, there's pressure to get it done. You don't get it done 2 weeks before. You get it done night of. Tell me you don't.
Before.
Tell me you don't. Cincinnati's franchise quarterback Carson Palmer has drawn the line in the sand. The Bengals have been given the choice to either trade him or he'll be happy to retire. Christian, where do the Bengals go from here, and do you see Carson Palmer in their future?
It's very hard to see Carson Palmer being the future of the Cincinnati Bengals because I realize he's not that old, but the Bengals are
he's about 29, 30. We're talking
something
about
around
that.
there. But he's completely not in the rebuilding blocks of this team. I mean, if you look, they're very young at wide receiver. You can figure Chad Johnson, not Ochocinco anymore, is going to be gone. And just they need a quarterback that they can bring in, a Cam Newton, a Blaine Gabbert, this year that can mature with the team, and they can rebuild as an entire unit.
Well, I tell you, Carson Palmer, just to break him down as sort of a player and a person, #1 overall pick, has all the talent in the world. Maybe one of the strongest arms in the league. It's foolish for the Bengals to let him go without anything. But I'm an Ohio sports fan. I'm a little bit of a Bengals fan. To watch Carson Palmer week to week, he doesn't have an it factor. He doesn't seem like he wants to win as bad as everyone else on the team or as bad as the other team he's playing. He doesn't have that it. I can see them moving on without him, and he seems to oblige.
BYU has decided to dismiss starting forward Brandon Davies from the team after admitting to having sexual relations with his girlfriend. Eric, is the school just in its decision, and how does this affect them going forward?
Yes, they're just because it's part of their honor code. It's part of what their university stands for. The basketball team, sports athletes in all sports across the university, they're not just about playing the game. It's about showcasing the university to the country. And about this, it's for sexual relations, which is, it's a touchy subject. Yep. It happens a lot in college, not at BYU, though.
Right.
I want to hear what you say.
I think that BYU is completely justified, and I'm glad that they did this. Instead of, saying, we've got a really good chance this year, and saying, we'll shove that to the side and just get back to it maybe next year. They said, no, this is our conviction. We're sticking to it. Brandon Davies, you're off the team. But that puts a lot of pressure on Jimmer Fredette now to carry this team into the NCAA tournament. And remember, them and San Diego State, it's very tight.
Yeah, as far as the basketball team goes, they lose their leading rebounder, and they're probably in trouble, but I like that BYU stuck to their morals. I tend to agree with it. The Los Angeles Clippers are going to try something a little different. The franchise had decided to celebrate Black History Month, not in February like the rest of the country, but in March. Christian, what do you make of this move out in L.A.?
I'm actually disgusted by this because he's already got a really bad reputation when it comes to race.
Okay, we're talking Donald Sterling.
Yes,
the
Donald Sterling
has
just a terrible reputation when it comes to race. And hello, does he not know that the Black History Month is February? What does he do? Like, if you're not going to do it, don't do it at all. Don't say, well, we'll just push it back a month. I mean, that's really disrespectful in my eyes.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I guess it's disrespectful. I mean, it is. They are celebrating Black history. It's not saying we're not going to celebrate in February because we're not going to celebrate Black history. It's a little more complicated than that. Yeah, Donald Sterling doesn't have a good reputation when it comes to race, but you know, you give him a little leeway. This is a step that he wants to take to increase those relations, but
it's not good.
It comes off a little wrong.
Spring training is 3 weeks deep, and Eric, if you were Bud Selig, how would you change spring training the way that it currently is?
Well, I wouldn't change a thing about it. I'm not a big baseball fan.
Which is a shame.
I think the off season is way too short. unlike a lot of other sports.
Come on, baseball all year round.
They just finished, didn't they? And now pitchers and catchers come in.
Yep.
It's just like people get excited.
Let me tell you
a long
what,
season anyway.
It is long, but I love spring training for rookies. But the one thing I would change about it is don't push the vets more than they need to be pushed.
I don't think they do.
They're pros. They play 162 games a year. They don't need spring training as much as these rookies do, trying to make it into the big leagues.
I disagree. I don't think they do. But I like everything about it. One thing I may change is have some games go back to the home city. The home fans want to see their team and not drive down to Florida, Arizona. It's time for us to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll sit down with Joey Accredino and find out what Big 12 teams are primed to pull off upsets in the tournament. Stay right there.